Hey everybody, Evan here with thetunemusician.com. Today we're going to be talking about cymbals and should we have a lot of them? What are the benefits, the drawbacks? But I want to give you a few ideas that I think you should really take into consideration for cymbals and for having a specific amount. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, Evan here with thetunemusician.com. Be sure before we start this video that you subscribe, that you hit that bell notification so that way you're notified every single time that we post a video. Go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts, and let's get started. So, cymbals. I feel like this is really something that is always being brought up among the drumming community. I was actually commenting on a Reddit post a few months ago, and I had personally said, I personally voiced my opinion on cymbals and what I think about them, and really I shared my thoughts on cymbals and how I feel about them. And really I feel like as far as cymbals go, you shouldn't have that many cymbals, to be honest. You don't really need that many cymbals unless of course the music calls for it. I mean, there's tons of styles of music like fusion or metalcore or whatever it may be, where drummers have 3 crashes, a ride, a China cymbal, an effect cymbal, a couple splash cymbals, or whatever it may be. But I think that all of those cymbals are not really necessary. I really feel like all you need are a pair of hi-hats and maybe a crash or two and then a ride. And then you can kind of add from there. And what I'll do is I'll actually show you my cymbal setup right now. Disregard the dustiness. I don't ever really dust my cymbals. I just leave them the way they are. And but this is my cymbal setup here. Also, excuse the mess in the studio here, the basement. But as you can see here, I have a pair of 15-inch Legacy HHX hi-hats, my Saluda Decadence crash, this little prototype splash that I actually recently got, and I just stacked it on top of this Decadence crash because it is a drier cymbal, but it gives it a trashy sort of effect. But then I have my 19-inch HHX Legacy crash, and then my 22-inch Legacy HHX, and then my 22-inch Legacy HHX ride. And so those are the cymbals that I have, and really for the longest time there I'd only play with a pair of hi-hats and then a crash and then a crash ride. Sometimes I'll crash on this Legacy ride here. But my belief behind the whole you don't really need a lot of cymbals just stems to a couple different things. One of those things is actually forcing you as a drummer to do more with less. And as you get better, you can obviously expand and it will feel earned. And this is where I got in a little debate on Reddit. Someone had said, well, if you have more cymbals, it forces you to be more creative. And I disagree with that. I feel like it's a crutch. If you've got a bunch of cymbals, you're just kind of hitting them and you're not really, you have more playing surfaces. So rhythmically, you're not being challenged enough. And there's a reason a ton of really great drummers don't have many cymbals. I mean, look at, JP Bovet, look at Mike Johnston. They don't really have a lot of cymbals, and they're phenomenal drummers. Not to say that there aren't phenomenal drummers who have a lot of cymbals, who have a lot of drums, but I personally believe that if you have less cymbals, it forces you to be more creative. And that way, when you're so sick of those cymbals and you finally decide to add to your cymbals and you decide to add more, whether that be another crash or another pair of hi-hats or an effect cymbal, it feels more earned. And yeah, you're able to expand upon your learning environment and obviously accumulate more playing surfaces and then get better from there. My second point, similar to the first, is less equipment for you. I don't know if you play shows. I don't really play as many shows anymore, but I used to. And I always tried, my set has always kind of been the same. I do have this extra floor tom that I moved from another drum set, but typically I have a rack tom and a floor tom, the bass and the snare, and then a few cymbals. And with that is less hardware, less cymbal stands that you got to worry about bringing to shows. You know, there's nothing worse than tearing down after a show, and especially when everybody else in the band has an easier time loading their stuff, unloading their stuff. Drummers, it's hard work, and so if you have more cymbals, you have more hardware you have to worry about, and it's just a headache. So less equipment to worry about. And a third, which is really similar to the first, is you get your ear acclimated almost to the point where you're annoyed with your cymbal setup. And that's kind of how I was, and that's why I got this prototype splash, because I was practicing, and I still do, and I was just kind of getting sick of just a crash in my ride and my hi-hats. And so I got out my Decadence, my Slew to Decadence crash, was playing with that for a little bit, and I'd been playing with that for several years, but I decided to get this little prototype splash and just stack it on top of that Decadence crash and kind of get that trashy sound, which would kind of opened up my playing a little bit. As I said, getting acclimated almost to the point of being annoyed by your cymbal setup, and then adding from there. And that goes with toms as well. But I really wanted to make this video to give you that option. If you've got a lot of cymbals, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Do what you want, do what makes you happy as a drummer. But personally, I feel like the less that you have, the whole saying less is more. You're able to be more creative with less, and you're able to really expand upon that, as I mentioned earlier, as you feel, and it's earned at that point because you practiced, you put in the work, and that's really what we should be doing as drummers, is getting better at our craft. And then similar to the first, less equipment to worry about, less tear down, and that's a headache in and of itself, really. And then third, getting acclimated almost to the point of being annoyed, and then annoyed with what you have, and then adding to that and how much more well earned that will be, which is kind of similar to the first one, but it's a little different. But I really hope that these tips are able to help you as a drummer, that you're able to really kind of look at what you have and not be so focused on accumulating another crash. I need another crash. I need another splash. I need another effects cymbal. I need another pair of hi-hats. I need a couple more toms. I need this, I need that, I need this. Being content with what you have as a drummer, and then really working on your craft and getting better from there. But I wanted to just show you my cymbal setup here and show you what I'm playing with. And I'm always open to new ideas as well, but I hope that this video has been really helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on it? Do you believe in a ton of cymbals? Do you believe in a ton of drums? If you do, let me know what your thoughts are, but I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email at evan@attunedmusician.com, but be sure to hit that subscribe button so that way you are notified every single time that we upload a video here, and also the bell notification. That's what I meant to say. But anyways, I hope you take it easy, keep practicing, keep bettering yourself as a drummer, and until next time.